Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here continuing to cook up this NBA action, man. Y'all know we do here on the Jam Session. We cook up every single game, every single day. We dropped another top play of the day yesterday, fellas. It's getting really frustrating, man. The spots and situations, they just not hitting currently. They're just not hitting, man. We had the Houston Rockets at home at the crib yesterday. One of our favorite, absolute favorite money-making spots from a season ago. As home favorites last year, they hit at like a 75% clip. Man, they got put belt to ass minute one of that basketball game yesterday. The Warriors took them behind the woodshed early in that one. And then they gave us hope. They fake came all the way back and forced overtime. They had no business forcing overtime. Forced overtime and then proceeded to only put up 2 points in overtime and lost anyway. Yeah, it's been that style week for us, fellas. It's been that style week. But I'm here. I ain't rattled. We're going to cook this shit up, man, and we're going to bounce back. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. And if you rocking with me, rock with me, man. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know. It's Money Making Sunday, my absolute favorite day of the week. Only got 3 games on the card today, but we're going to cook them up and smash them per usual. And we're going to keep that momentum rolling forward into a money-making week. That's the goal. That's the plan. So let's do exactly that, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I have premium plays for y'all over at the site. I have a top NBA play, and I have a handful of NFL plays for y'all today. Y'all can scoop up. But without further ado, man, y'all know what we're finna do right now. We're finna cook up this NBA action. We're finna get back on track. And we're finna kick the crap out of the books like we always do. So without further ado, let's do exactly that, man. Let's hop right into today's NBA action. First game of the day. We're in Brooklyn, where the Nets are home favorites, laying 3.5 on the Detroit Pistons. Total 219.5. Look, the Nets, they're 3-3 on the season. They got some nice dubs to start their season as well. They have wins over Chicago. That was their last win, 120-112. A 119-106 win on the road in Memphis on the back end of a back-to-back. Nice win. They should have beat Denver in that game. They should have beat Denver. They had to lead the entire game. Denver walked them down and then beat them in overtime. And they also beat Milwaukee at home at the crib. I'm still don't have a firm grasp on who the Nets are. And I know one thing I'm not comfortable doing right now. I know they've played well. I know they've won some basketball games and beat some good teams. That still doesn't warrant, in my opinion, laying points with bad teams. I know I'm the one saying it's early in the season. Bad teams don't know they're bad. Bad teams coming out hooping early to start the season. But that still doesn't mean we make bad bets. And I think a bad bet is laying points with bad teams. I think, in my opinion, the Detroit Pistons have a legitimate chance to win this game outright. And that's where I want to be, on the plus 140. Detroit hasn't been that tough of a team to figure out. They've had a really, really, really tough schedule to start their season. They probably had the toughest schedule of anybody to start their season. But I'm looking for how they're playing in those games, and I like what I'm seeing from them. And in a step-down game, not playing that top-tier, top-of-the-league competition, I think we see Detroit compete, kind of like we saw them do in their lone win of the season. So last game Detroit played was 128-98 at home against the Knicks. Everybody's trying to tell me the Knicks are the second-best team in the East. I do think they're a top 4 team in the East currently, which is, dominating their conference. Pistons still a bottom feeder team in the conference. No surprise that New York came in there and busted them up. They did beat Philly out on the road, though. That was a really nice win for the Pistons in that one. They did beat Philly out on the road, a Philadelphia team that has had the Pistons number over the last couple seasons. The Sixers have won, I think, like 12 of the last 13 meetings over the Pistons. So for the Pistons to go and get that one, it was a good dub. They lost to Miami. They lost to Boston. They lost to Cleveland. All those teams I just named off are the top-tier teams in the Eastern Conference. They've yet to really play a bad team. The worst team they've played this season is Philadelphia. So I think Philadelphia is better than the Nets. I think the Pistons come in here in a very winnable spot and have a chance to win this game outright. Injury report-wise, Asar Thompson is out. I see Bojan Bogdanovic out for the Nets. Ben Simmons is a game-time decision. Cam Thomas has been hoping. I like what I'm seeing from Cam Thomas. But I don't think it's warranted enough to lay points with the Nets. I want to attack the plus money in a very winnable spot with the Detroit Pistons. And that's what we're going to do here in our first game of the day. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, We're in New Orleans, where the Pelicans are 4.5 point home favorites over the Atlanta Hawks. Two teams that are on the do not bet list. Interesting game we have here. There's now currently four teams on the do not bet list. We have the Atlanta Hawks, the number one team on the do not bet list, a mainstay on the list, the only team that carried over from a season ago on the do not bet list. The number two team on the do not bet list is the New Orleans Pelicans. They earned themselves a trip on the list after losing to Golden State on the road in Golden State. No Curry, but hindsight's 2020. The Warriors hooping. The Warriors is hooping. So hindsight is 2020. The Utah Jazz are on that list, and the newest member, we said we were going to add them yesterday. They probably should have already been on the list, but after they failed to win that game yesterday, they are officially on the list in the Milwaukee Bucks. So those are the four teams on the do not bet list. But as I say all the time, the NBA do not bet list is very fluid. Teams can work their way off of the list. I think the Pelicans, man, are the first team to have that opportunity today. I'm on the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm laying the points. We're just continuing to fade the Hawks. We're going to fade the Hawks at all costs. It just is what it is. There's a reason they were the only team to carry over on the do not bet list. And like I was saying a second ago, hindsight's 2020. The way the Warriors beat up on Houston in Houston yesterday, man, especially first half. Houston was my top play yesterday. I love betting Houston in Houston. They covered at like a 75% clip as home favorites a season ago. And the Warriors just went there and busted them up early in that game. So maybe it wasn't on the Pelicans. Maybe we just got to adjust how we look at the Warriors, even minus Steph Curry. So I think the Pelicans have a chance to come off the do not bet list today. If they beat the Hawks, they're off the list. And we'll be down to three teams on the list. But if the Pelicans lose and don't cover, they're still on the list for the foreseeable future. So here's their opportunity to come up off of it. I do think the Pelicans are the better basketball team. Injury report-wise, it is kind of concerning. Let's go through the injuries for both teams. Herbert Jones, of course, still out for the Pelicans. CJ McCollum is out. DeJounte Murray, of course, is out. And Trey Murphy still has not returned. That's kind of concerning for the Pelicans. We love the Pelicans when they're healthy. The numbers suggest when the Pelicans are healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league. When they're not healthy, they're the Pelicans. The Hawks. Cody Zeller, out. Dyson Daniels, game time decision. DeAndre Hunter, out. And Kobe Buffkin, out. I don't trust the Hawks. Short, sweet, simple. I want to fade the Hawks at all costs. The Pelicans did show me some signs of the way they fought back and beat Indiana in that last game because they were down for most of it, and they did come back, fight, and win it. Here's your opportunity, New Orleans. Here's your opportunity. I'm giving you the opportunity to come off the do not bet list. I think you're the better basketball team. You're at home. You're facing an overrated, overvalued, not good, worse than a season ago Atlanta Hawks team. This should be a cover for the Pelicans at home, at the crib. That's the way I'm going to lean. I'll lay the points with them here in our second game of the night. In our last and final game of the night, we're in my hometown. We're in Dallas, where my favorite team, the Mavs, are 6.5 point home favorites over the Orlando Magic. Magic, of course, are missing their best player, Paolo Banchero. He will be out for about a month or so with a torn oblique. Huge blow for the Magic. A huge blow for this young, up-and-coming basketball team. We love the Magic here on the Jam Session. We bet the Magic a ton. We made a fortune betting Orlando last season. I didn't like what I saw from them their first game minus Banchero, though, against Cleveland. I think defensively, they're still going to be the Magic. We love the defense of intensity the Magic play with. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Offensively is where we have our questions and concerns with them. And now missing their best offensive weapon, really the only person I trust on their team to be a consistent go-get-a-bucket guy in Banchero, I think we're going to see them struggle mightily over this next month offensively. And when they go up against some of the best offensive teams in the league, a team like Dallas, an offensive juggernaut, I just don't think they're going to be able to hang their hat on defense full game. I think late in this basketball game when it matters most, the offense for Dallas will just be too much for the Magic, and the Magic won't have enough offensive firepower to come back and fight back. That's my assumption of this game. I still love the Magic. We definitely will still be betting the Magic this season. We may have to start targeting their unders in certain spots over this next month. But right now, currently, second game minus Banchero, a younger team. I think this is going to affect them more so than it would affect any other team in the league. Missing their top guy, a younger team like they are. Their chemistry was starting to come together. We really like what we see from Orlando. But I think we kind of see them struggle mightily here a bit. I think this is going to be where we really see just how good Paolo Banchero is down there in Orlando. He's their guy that gets a bucket. And minus that, going up against the best offensive teams in the league, I think we see them struggle. When I looked at how these two teams matched up a season ago, Dallas won the last meeting on the 29th of January, 131-129. Tightly contested game. I was at that one. It was a really good game. Really good game. The game before that was in Orlando. Dallas did win that one comfortably, 117-102. I think this game today is going to look something similar to how that last one looked. Dallas coming off a loss where they looked bad in the first half against Houston, kind of got it together second half. I think they come out this game with intensity, and I think they win this game comfortably. So I'm going to lay the points here in our last and final game with my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. And I got y'all. Look, for the first time this season, my Mavs and my Cowboys play on the same day, so you know what we got to do. We got to put the two-team Dallas parlay in. Do the Stars play today? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Do the Stars play today? Do we place the Dallas parlay for the first time this season? The Stars do not play today. So it's just a two-teamer. Just a two-teamer. Mavs, Cowboys. Take it to the window and do what you want with it. Let's talk some props, ladies and gentlemen. First one up. We got Kyrie Irving over 22.5 points. Kyrie been balling to start this season for my Mavs. His points total goes like this. 23 against the Jazz, 35 against the Timberwolves, 28 against the Rockets. I know we love the defense for the Magic, but with no Paolo Banchero in the lineup, that means everybody else that's mainly focused on defense now has to exert more energy on the offensive side of the floor. So a guy like Jalen Suggs, who's mainly playing defense, now has to lead the team in scoring like he did a game ago. We'll talk about him in a second. So I just think the offensive pressure for the Mavs is going to be something similar to what we saw in the playoffs against Minnesota. Sometimes the best defense is offense, and that's the case for the Mavs. The Mavs are going to go at Orlando, make their guys defend, make their guys guard, and then they're going to be tired, especially on the other end of the floor, because Banchero's not there to carry a lot of that offensive scoring weight. So I think some of the defensive pressure for Orlando may be lacking a bit in this game, and I think Kyrie, who has been balling, who has gotten over this points total 2 of the last 3, gets over it in this one. I'm going to take Kyrie over 22.5 points. Cam Thomas over 26.5 points. He's just in that mode. He's a shot chunker, which we like when we're laying over on points. We need guys that are going to take the shots to get them over the points total. And I think Cam Thomas definitely is going to do that. He's really the only bucket getter on the Nets. I don't trust anybody else on the Nets to go and get their own bucket. Everybody else pretty much got to be set up. Finney Smith, Cam Johnson. Dennis Schroeder can kind of get his own bucket, but he's not on the same level as a Cam Thomas, in my opinion. So he's the offensive orchestrator. He's been going off. We saw the logo 3 last game. Oh, my goodness, Cam Thomas. And he hit it. It was the opposite of the, oh, my goodness, Valentine. Logo 3 from Thomas. I think he continues rolling. He's been hot. His points total the last couple games, he had 26, 19, and 32. Going up today against a Detroit basketball team whose backcourt, Tim Hardaway Jr., Cade Cunningham, like the Detroit Pistons don't provide a defensive pressure enough for me to think Cam Thomas doesn't get his tonight. So I think he keeps it rolling. Give me Cam Thomas over his points total of 26.5. We talked about Jalen Suggs a minute ago. He was their leading scorer in the game against Cleveland when Paolo Banchero went out. In that game, Mr. Suggs scored 28 points. He had 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Like he has to kind of take over the Banchero role on the offensive side of the floor. Somebody has to score for Orlando, you feel me? And I think he's the one, at least right now, at least what we've seen through one game, is the one that has and will pick up the slack. So it's probably going to be Suggs, a lot of Wagner, and then a lot of everybody else chipping in. But I think Jalen Suggs is going to be a shot chunker now with Banchero out of the lineup. He's probably going to be the main one taking shots. So, again, when we're laying over on points, a lot of times we're just looking for the guy to get the amount of shots up. And I think Jalen Suggs, with no Banchero, gets the amount of shots up to get over 17.5. I'm going to take him over his points total. And last but not least, last one of the night, we got Tim Hardaway Jr. over 2.5 made threes. He had a bad game last game, still made 2. He got up 7 in that last game. He's playing like 30, 35 minutes a game for the Pistons. So we know Hardaway, the only reason he's on the floor is to shoot threes. So we just need him to make 3 of them. He got up 7 last game. We're looking for attempts when laying over on threes. I think it's at plus money right now, over 2.5 made threes as well. So he's going to get the shots up. It's just a matter of does he make them. As Tim Hardaway Jr., formerly on my Mavs, I love Tim Hardaway Jr. personally because when he's on, he's one of the best players on the floor. But when he's off, he's probably the worst player on the floor. And there's no in between. That's who Hardaway is. So if he's hitting tonight, he's definitely going to get over 2.5. And if he's not, well, he just ain't going to do it. So quick recap of what I like. We got Tim Hardaway Jr. over 2.5 made threes. He's going to get the shots up. He's going to take at least 7 threes. We need him to make 3. Jalen Suggs, he has to be the scoring leader now for the Magic with Paolo Banchero out, injured, and banged up. Cam Thomas, he's the bucket getter for the Nets. Nobody else over in Brooklyn can really create their own shot. He's a shot chunker. He's going to get the shots up to get over 26.5. I think he gets up and over that number. And Kyrie Irving, I think he's going to go right at Orlando today. Offensively, he's been clicking to start the season, and I just think he keeps it rolling. So, them the 4 props I got for y'all today. Let's do it. Let's make some money tonight. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NBA Jam session. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. Money Making Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. One of my favorite days of the week. Really my favorite day of the week. NFL Sunday. Of course, we just cooked up and broke down the 3 NBA games on the card. Hey, you can scoop up my premium plays over at the site. Of course, I have NFL and NBA for y'all today. Look, hasn't been the best week for me, man. I keep saying that. I keep saying I'm looking for the bounce back, and it's not happening, and it's frustrating. I promise y'all, like, I'm not sitting here just cheesing, happy, feeling good. No. I'm upset, bro. We got to bounce back at a certain point. Hopefully, today's the day. If you're rocking with me, rock with me, man. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow or later on today, depending on how things shake out. But it's been your guy, Jay Briggs, man. I'll see y'all later. I'm out of here. Peace.